Hello guys, 3 people already here. I'm just setting up. I was doing everything in a hurry. How are yous? Just finishing setting up stuff in here. Hello Gloria. Oh yeah, yesterday I completely forgot. Like I was so in a hurry in this past TRECENA that like when I got home and there was some of you who messaged me, hey, what about the live? And I was like, oh my gosh, what's up, Ricardo? Good to see you. And as promised, I'm here, so we won't miss like going through a cycle together. Even though like I already have the videos talking about every single TRECENA, I know that making the live is always very useful, for a lot of views, and also for me because it also helps me, to mature even more the knowledge. Because one thing that I learned since the day one when I started following the Maya calendar, the more cycles we go through and start paying attention, the more we start maturing about the knowledge. What's up, my friend Nathan? Good to see you here. And I'm glad some of you were able to attend, because this was like kind of a late notice, live. So it's good to have you here to go through one more TRECENA together. And I hope the last TRECENA was fine for all of you. And let's just wait a few more minutes to see if more people are coming to join. And how was the last TRECENA for you? Was too emotional? Was pretty good? You were able to do all the tasks with all the emotions in place? Cut out of no longer served, perfect. Was great if you are able to follow the TRECENA, just cutting like what doesn't serve, not letting like becoming overwhelmed by emotions is the best thing. You were sad yesterday. Yeah, it's emotional now. And I'm making us addicted now. I need to watch. I always feel better like whenever I do the live TRECENA analysis. Helped me to, as I was saying, to mature everything, and it kind of helps me as a reminder, like, because I'd like to just to be in a position as only being the guide or just telling the others like what would be the best, because I also need to put my life in order, in the first place, to be able to offer my best. Excited for the monkey to play with writing. Oh, amazing! That's a great TRECENA for that. For creating stuff, for bringing ideas to the light, and that's what we're gonna be talking about. Because Nawabat is the now connected to arts and spirituality. Everything we see was exactly. Even the phone that we are using right now, to the phone or the computer, like they were like someone else's invention that we are making it like we are using. We are just using that. So it's all like a chain reaction, like that. Everything that we create is not actually just for us, it's kind of for the world. And Hacha, Tata Jose, good to see you here as well. And so guys, I think we can start already. I I don't know why I cannot write um, here in the message. I would like to pin my website because the calculator, because I know there are some people who join and they always ask me if there is like a graphic where they can follow. And yeah, I never know how to write from my phone. But if everyone's watching like the replay of this live, you can go to mayadaykeeper.me/calculator. And then you can just search the day of today. You can see like the snake and you can follow the day by day. So let's start with our analysis. Last TRECENA, we were talking about like the new cuts that were that could accumulate into big emotional stuff that could end up leading us feeling heavy-hearted or exhausted. Like it was the accumulation of emotions that makes us, doing our sacrifices for other people. Like, of course, this is a noble stuff whenever we take some of our energy to help our fellow friends. That's something that also helps us, just feeling fulfilled. Like this works as a healing. For example, being there as a friend, like offering our words, as Tihash was suggesting, like the new words of support that can help, just giving some heat for other people. So that was what the past TRECENA was talking about. So, but it was talking also about, maybe if you heard, it was a TRECENA where you could take, some time just to take this emotional healing, just to load off the heavy stuff you are carrying, all the burden that you're seeing. Also, to see like how we could use our emotions in our favor. For example, if you got excited about something, we need to use that spark, like the fire, because that fire can extinguish very quick if you don't use right away. Especially when you think about doing things like you're excited in a moment, okay, but I'm gonna do that later. But later you won't get that spark. Just like when you have like a match, like you need to use that quickly. So just like emotions, they shift so quickly. If we are not able to use, like for example, something that we feel in the right moment, it's not like completely guaranteed that we're gonna be able to use that on our favor again. So depending on how the past TRECENA went, maybe for some of you it could be like a TRECENA that was overwhelming, like with emotions that could have made you feel like pretty heavy. Maybe you offer like too much energy that led you to exhaustion, ended up making you feeling hurt. Now we are starting over in a brand new TRECENA. If T, like the ruler of the past TRECENA that was accumulating emotions, was like you ended up meeting the chaos with the hurting things. Now it's time to start over. Now Bat puts things into order after the chaos. Now we are entering to this Aq'ab'al TRECENA, this Oshlahu, this big accumulation of clarity. This big accumulation of clarity starts with Humbat, like a brand new idea, like a brand new thread that we can start untangle the knots that we created in the past TRECENA, the emotional knots, or everything that we were sacrificing. So now Bat, it's what puts things into order again. It's what in the Quiche counting is the first novel. So if T is the chaos, Bat is what puts things into order. But in reality, the calendar has no end or beginning. We can start at any day and start counting. But only in the Quiche tradition, we start with Bats. And this TRECENA that is going to be growing, is going to be ruling by Oshlahu Aq'ab'al. We're going to be talking about all of these new threads and how they can connect all together so we can clarify. For example, now that starts with Bats, with a new idea, this TRECENA that's already Aq'ab'al is pushing forward is for you to bring this idea more to the light. So Aq'ab'al is another novel that talks about knowledge. Bats, it talks about knowledge by connecting the dots. You see a subject that it's here, but then you see something else in here, and how they connect with each other, because it's the weaver is what interweaves, just like threads coming together to create textiles. So that's the main concept that bats can bring. But then as you start accumulating, you start weaving ideas, weaving thoughts, as Nathan was saying, like composing songs, not just making, like the words coming together to see how they fit in a sentence and how they interweave with the melody you are creating. As Bats talks about arts and spirituality, like something that you do, like how you play with the words that comes to your mind, how you use experiences, because we use language to express our experiences in life. So it's going to be how we interweave them to bring something to the light, to gestate that. Sometimes you don't need to make your home run right away, but maybe you can take your time, to create like your tapestry, on Aq'ab'al. You need to gestate a little bit more. Because sometimes they make sense today, but maybe you're going to read tomorrow, you're not going to be so sure. So this TRECENA is going to be about gestating, taking your time. Of course, time is something that, like that is only existing in our minds. Like this notion of time. In reality, everything needs to be gestated. Everything has, its own process to come to fruition. So all of these threads that are going to be pulling in this TRECENA, we can, maybe later going to be seeing like what you can create whenever we put it already so much light in it. So it's going to be the accumulation of clarity. So that's why, this with everything that we're going to be creating here, it's part of this big gestation of Aq'ab'al. Aq'ab'al talks about, the first sunlights that started illuminating what is in the dark. Just like when you talk about knowledge, you can achieve knowledge by doing a research into something. Maybe you got an idea, for example, a subject, but you don't know so much about it, so you're going to be doing a research to see if you can clarify that subject in front of you. So it's going to be, bringing these aspects of clarifying stuff or gestating, so you can mature more this process. Aq'ab'al can be also cognate of the now number 9 and the now Ishvalam, the jaguar, because they both talk about gestating stuff. They are both connected to the caves, especially humid caves where there is water on the inside, where some life can come out of it from the dark, but nobody's seeing. But Aq'ab'al talks about when you gestate information, but you keep to yourself, to use onto your favor. That's why one of the main meanings to express Aq'ab'al is the power obtained by hiding information. What you choose to keep in the dark to use to your own favor. That's why Aq'ab'al is connected to the rulers, to the act of ruling. Because who has the information, who has the knowledge, has the power. So this TRECENA is going to be very knowledge driven, very into organization, classification, how we're going to be classifying all the threads that we are pulling from Bats. So Bats is just was starting, like this spring of new threads that we can accumulate into a big clarity, like this big creation. Maybe we can gestate and see if it's already ready to see the light of day. Like to see like that intense, that passionate knowledge that you can put all together. So yes, the underground uncommon. Yeah, perfect. So that's all gonna be about classification. What do we need to watch out in this TRECENA? Because this TRECENA that talks about creating, we can end up being overload or creating too much expectation, especially for that we are coming from the TRECENA of emotions after Oshla. See that whenever you mix like with your emotions, like sometimes creates a lot of expectations, and that can weigh a little bit on how this TRECENA is gonna be going. So we need to be careful for not becoming obsessed about stuff, because obsession and perfectionism sometimes like the worst enemies of creators. Sometimes we want to be like, everything so perfect, like every, like for example, writing a song. Like sometimes we want to every single a phrase to be a killer, like to be, oh my god, like that hit. But sometimes like the more we start to stress, the more we become more perfectionist, and by the end of this TRECENA we can end up being complaining about everything. So you're gonna be started being hard on yourself. Oh, but I cannot do this, or everything that I created is not good. Because Aq'ab'al can be this, like a presence, like this spirit that sometimes press really hard on us. It's a spirit that expects perfection. That's why in the lands, like they say that the first victim of Aq'ab'al is the Aq'ab'al itself. Because it creates an expectation that no one is able to deliver. Expects something that's beyond perfect. That's why we need to take it easy on ourselves. Just try to not be too much perfectionist. Of course, you need to care a little bit. And is perfect even a real thing in nature, or just? I think it's just a human thing. I think the way that we expect things, because like sometimes we could maybe imagine something that we like to create, and we want to hit that expectation that we create, like whenever we had that idea. So we start putting that on us. But at the end, sometimes it's just our limited perspective that wants to see like the thing that way that we pictured before. Because even sometimes like if you don't care so much, some other people are really going to be starting making a good use. For example, remember when what took me so long to start doing this live, I was so worried about creating graphics, of putting my website, making it beautiful. I was just putting so much into that, but at the end, people just want to do something just to be practical, at the end. Of course, it's nice to have a beautiful, but sometimes it's not the main stuff. Like it's not the most important. Sometimes we waste so much time because in something that is not actually the main act, and that can work against us. So perfectionism sometimes can be our worst enemy, like our obsession to create something that is gonna fit like the limited perspective that we have. And so Humbat is gonna be these fresh new ideas that you want to bring into light to just stay during this TRECENA. Exactly, knowing when enough is enough. But it's kind of hard sometimes, because whenever we get excited about that, it's really hard to contain, our excitement. So in this TRECENA, let's start with Humbat, just to create, have your ideas, just to make maybe a brainstorm of everything that you would like to accumulate into light, to really form that ultimate knowledge from that. If there is a subject, that is going to be adding to a skill you need to learn, so it's going to be good to start doing that in Humbat. Humbat is a day for you to start light, as we're already almost finishing Humbat. It's a day to start light, it's the fresh new waters start. Maybe if there is something that got entangled like this with this emotional stuff in the past TRECENA, so it's a day to take it easy, to see what ideas can light up so you can come up with a solution of something. Because creativity in BATS is actually, solving something, just bringing a solution, bringing something, practical that you can use, that you're gonna solve something that you got in there. And so it's good to start this Humbat, just untangling all the knots, so we can end up not becoming, not accumulating complaints at the end of this TRECENA. And then from Humbat, we go to Aq'ab'al to Pathfinder. 2 is the now of the water in retraction, like something that is going to be calculating. So you're going to be, retracting to see where everything is going to fit. So observing to see where everything is going to lead before we go moving forward. And now the Pathfinder, we talk about, if BATS, we talk about an idea. So now it's about to just state what is the purpose of this idea. So it's about, calculating, okay, what are you gonna do? Like where you want to advance with that idea that you have in Honbats. So you're gonna be observing to see what is the purpose, like what's the purpose that you can create with that. Life has no meaning, like we are the ones who give purpose to something. So now A is gonna be talking about like what's the meaning you're gonna give to the thing you are doing. So QBA is about calculating the path to see like what happened in the past, just like taking one step back, to see like what happened, how are you feeling, what's going on inside of you, what do you have available for you to start calculating, to projecting where you want to go. They telling, okay, what's the path that I would like to walk? What's the path that is gonna take me to the light that I want to accumulate? Or that's gonna give me, like the skills that I would like to learn. So it's gonna be all about projecting, making these calculations. And also about, especially as we spoke about the emotions TRECENA, the past one, it could be talking about when we are, just holding back into these emotions, like with the melancholy of something that is in the past. Because it's the now of keep moving, that we need to keep advancing. So it's the moment of this TRECENA that we need sometimes just to make the right effort, that you need to move forward. Or sometimes just take one step back to change the direction. And so we can end up not, giving like, not just feeding more of all of this melancholy or this emotional stuff. Now it's about to being more practical, being more like using more this masculine energy to see how everything, connects to each other. It's more like creating all this classification, like this road, this map, that we can follow. And then from Aq'ab'al we go to Aq'ab'al 3 transformation. Now 3 is the water that opens the path after doing the retraction, the calculation, waiting for more water to come. So now you have enough, enough energy to go forward, to give like your first like strong step forward in the TRECENA. Just like when the waters in the waterfall, they're gonna split between the rocks and find a way through, so they can fall, they can flow. Or just like a delta in a river that's going to be diverging, like so much pressure of water that still goes forward, try to overcome obstacles. And now of transformation, we talk about doing the necessary effort, just to take things out of the gray. After, okay, it's good to have an idea of bats. Okay, it's nice, you're excited. Then you find a path, just like you daydream, you go to your inside world, you see where that connects. But then Aq'ab'al is the moment that you need to move forward, to start, make things happen. And then that's the first step that you need to confront with something that you haven't thought about that. So maybe you have to change some of the ideas that you had in bats. Maybe there are something that you didn't calculate in A, or that appears right in front of you that you weren't expecting. So you have to deal with stuff. So you have to open the path for the changes to make, to be able to lead with this divergence of the change that you need to do. So it's about sometimes going to those uncomfortable feelings that you need to do. Sometimes we fall in love with the ideas that we have, like, oh, they work so perfectly, it would be so great if this project works, but sometimes there is something that's kind of blocks that. But the idea could be so perfect, like it could be like you don't want to let go of that. For example, songwriting, sometimes we fall in love with something that we would like to keep in a song, but then we can find like a way to make it fit with the rest, and ended up just becoming an obstacle in the entire song. Could be a killer sentence over there, but it's not helping flowing. And now 3 is about flowing. It's just about overcoming the obstacles. So it would be about, just being ready, if you need to change something, try not to create obstacles over there. Try to flow easily with that. Try to see like the path of least resistance, so you can end up not becoming bitter. Because sometimes, of course, we never like to have to change something that we are really enjoying, like in our ideas. And whenever I say, oh, it's not good enough, or say, oh, you need to change this, or you're gonna say, oh, okay, oh, shite. I really need to carry through this. Say, but it's okay, yeah, I need to go through this. So this is now, is having to go through this, gray feelings inside of us to make a change. Or just to make something, goes out of the paper. Because sometimes you cannot confront the anxiety. For example, okay, I want to write a song, but then you sit down and then you cannot write as fast as you want, or cannot write the process is not going to be as easy as you expected. So you start becoming anxious about that. So that's a process of naw'ah that you need to overcome. It's like a door that you need to cross. That's not comfortable for anyone, but it's some of the most fundamental knowledge to make something happen, just to take something out of the paper, is to overcome these aspects, or making the transformation. Just like the transformation talks about the transformation of the corn, like whenever you have the ripeness of the corn and you put the corn in the houses over there to dry it up. So it's the process of maturing the corn to be ready to consume. And it's connected to the home, means like the house. But actually in Quiche, like banking analysis for our life, it doesn't have like a proper use. We use like from the Quiche halbal, to transform, to change. And so that's 3 opening the path for the transformation, or the divergence that will make you need to change some stuff and overcome these bitter aspects, these difficult aspects, to make it happen. And then we're gonna go to Kahib Ish Balam, 3 Jaguar. Now 4 is the water that stops, just like after the waterfall, the water is gonna stop like in a pool of water and stays over there. Or just like the well, that after receiving the rains, like the water from the rain is gonna stop over there. Or like the dam, like where you see like the water in the containment. And now Ishvalam is an owl of the planet Earth, like the aggressive side of the Earth. Like it talks about development. As I said, Ishvalam and Aq'ab'al, they are cognates, like they are cousins in meanings, in this developing aspect, these gestation aspects, and they both are connected to jaguars. Ishvalam, we're going to be talking about more the material. Aq'ab'al is more what's hidden in the dark. But Ishvalam is going to be like more the material, like your curiosity to go and develop stuff. It's fertility, the fertility of the lands. Just like Earth is fertile all the time, but it's an aggressive fertility where everything's like are creating, have the potential, but they are destroying themselves all the time. So it's very aggressive. So it's just like about we have many brilliant ideas, but you cannot make them work together, so they keep destroying each other. So you need to keep having more and more ideas. So for each is going to be talking about stopping to develop. Maybe it could be after you open the path. Now it's time to stop and see how you can put everything together, like how you can develop stuff, just taking your time to gestate that even more. How you can make what you got, like all the ideas that you got like in your bag, to make work then together. How can develop this stuff? Or can also talk about like how you can stop to raise funds that you need to make your idea work. Because Ishvalam is connected to economics or resources. We're not talking about money, because we'll be talking more about the resources, like what you can build with that. It's the material world. So it's going to be talking about stopping to develop, and stop to create, or to stop to raise funds to apply in this idea that we want to bring to the light. Otherwise, can be talking about like if you're not able to open the path to transform, like overcome like these great sensations of now Ishvalam, we'll be talking about like whenever you are stagnant in barrenness, Like you become unfertile with so many different stuff, so many different ideas, but you cannot make them work. So you couldn't overcome all of this the anxiety process that was talking about. So Ishvalan can be the one that you become stagnant, and that you create a chain reaction as we go through this TRECENA. That's why it's always important to analyze the conditions in which we are getting into each now, like as they are just passing the baton to one another. And from Kahib Ishvalan for Jaguar, we go to Hob Tikin 5 Eagle. Now 5, after the water that was stagnant or just slowly getting volume in our 4, is the water that overflows. Just like when the dam breaks or the well becomes full of water after the water from the rain, it overflows. So it's the water that has no containment. So it can be like the rudest step in this TRECENA, and something that if you are not careful enough, you cannot contain that. But if you are flowing in a nice way, like you got everything directed, everything is working according to our plan, so it's the one that you can enjoy the most. It's gonna give you like the best results. Like it can help speeding up the process. And Tikin is the eagle. There's gonna be talking about the midday sun, like the strongest heat of the sun, something that goes direct, or like the tropical rains, like the strong rains that fall from the sky that goes direct to the ground and helps germinating the seeds, or like the eagle that is flying over there. When it sees the prey, it goes direct, it goes straight forward, because that's another like a very forward now to go in this TRECENA after the now 3 that opens the path. Because after the transformation, to overcome this process of transforming to change, we will need like the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. The feminine is the jaguar, like the conception, the gestation of the stuff. And now we are going to be combining with the masculine aspect, like the eagle. Like if jaguar is the earth, eagle is the sky. So it's going to be the masculine energy that you need to use to transform. So it's going to be the combination of like what goes direct, the masculine force. So it's about like if Ishvalam is about the resources that or the funds that you accumulate, Tikin is the one that uses these funds. Is the one that's going to be doing the investment of what you accumulated in Ish. So you can make something work. So Hob Tikin is gonna be like the overflow of straightforward actions, the overflow of the investments that you need to do. So it's about being straightforward, it's about being focused. Because if you're not focused on the Tikin, if you feel like you are too dispersed, you cannot reach anywhere. Like you're just gonna be, extenuating your resources. And that's what you need to avoid in here. Because if something goes sideways in Hob Tikin, it's very likely that Aq'ab'al is not going to be happy over there. It's going to be starting to increase in the complaints, or the pressure they're going to be putting onto yourself. So it's about just creating a structure where you can follow, where you can keep your focus to continue doing the right efforts to bring something to the light, to accumulate this light, to make that thread become something, to create something. So it could be a good day if you need to invest money or to sponsor something that will help your idea. Hob Tikin is an amazing day, but just be careful because now 5 cannot be contained. And then after Hob Tikin, we go to Aq'ab'al 6 complementarity. Now 6 is the moment after the water that overflows, is the moment that the water needs to balance what happened. So it's the moment where we take to the ears of the TRECENA, where you need to listen to, or to ponder, or to meditate about what happened. So you're gonna see all the repercussions you had so far. So it's the heart of the TRECENA. You're gonna listen to how you're going to wait weigh something in this TRECENA. What's working, what's not working. Maybe you were too excited about something. Now it's time to put your feet on the floor. And that's what Aq'ab'al talks about. Like, well, it's the one that combines the complementary opposites, like the female jaguar and the masculine eagle, to procreate into something new. Just like you have the idea and you have the money, then you combine both, you have the product. Or if you're talking about procreation, like the ovulum, the sperm, then you have the baby. And so Aq'ab'al is going to be talking about like pondering like what are the necessary elements that you need to have like a product, to need to have a result. So Aq'ab'al is the result that you need to have, after combining these complementary opposites. But talks about also whenever you are too excited about something and you become blind by that. Like whenever there is too much light. If Tikin is the midday sun, when you look at the light like so strong you cannot see, and then you try like that is still, I don't know how to say in English that, but you still see like that reflection of light. You still see some stuff you cannot see properly. So then you start making mistakes. Just like when we fall in love, we just feel like we are walking in the clouds, everything is so perfect, everything is so beautiful. You see only the good stuff about the partner, but then, but you cannot see like where you're walking. That's why Aq'ab'al in Quiche means the one that walks in darkness. Just like you are start hitting the walls, not knowing what you're doing because you are obfuscated, you are blinded by the light. So it's an hour of blindness. And that's why sometimes we are too excited, but we cannot see the mistakes that we are doing. And that's how we start acting in incongruence. So 6 Aq'ab'al is about pondering like the results you are getting. If the results, here you can see, like you can feel in your heart, like if you are just taking to a direction where you can accumulate the light that you want. You are just stating as you wanted to. Like if you are happy with the process. Of course, Aq'ab'al is kind of hard to please. It's always going to say, oh, you can do better, my friend. You always can do better, but you are far from perfect, But Aq'ab'al is the moment of the TRECENA where you can measure stuff. If you can feel if it's already getting into a place that we are happy with. And then from Aq'ab'al 6 complementarity, we go to Uq'ab Naor. Hello, Margarida. Uq'ab Naor 7 knowledge. We arrive to the climax of this TRECENA. Is about 7 is the hot water, like the geyser or the lava from the volcano. It's like the most intense part, like it could be like the most passionate part of the TRECENA. Just like when you arrive to the top of the canyon and then you can already see where you're going, where you can go, what are the real possibilities where you can get. That's why the 13 is only going to be the accumulation, at the end. That's why you can see that, time is not linear, because what you're going to be seeing after the now 7 is just accumulation, what we already have done in this first part of this TRECENA, that was already, developed from the beginning, but we could not see before. And now, Naor, or Noh, is about the thoughts, is the thinker, or the now of the knowledge. So if everything started with bats, with the thread of ideas, or thoughts and ideas, or the interweaving of work and thoughts and ideas, now Naor is where you have the plan. Like it's now you're already starting seeing like where everything fits, in the plan. You start organizing. You can start your classifications over there, the analysis, the synthesis of what you have done. So you can see where everything fits, and then after you look at that, you see the knowledge, like a library. So like all of the things that we are doing. And that's something that we would like to get from this TRECENA. Like as we are gestating to make things come into the light, to accumulate clarity. So the more we are organizing into a knowledge, a practical knowledge that we can use in our favor, the better. So after, pondering all the results, you already have facts, to analyze. So it's gonna be talking about, comparing, just to analyze like all the facts that you can go, or everything that you can grasp, that you can use into your favor. It's about planifying. So maybe you already got like an idea that, oh, you need to change something, or that everything that you tried like is not good enough. So now you see with the plan, you see like how everything can organize into a plan, like into a solid plan. So it can be like your most intense ideas, like when you find out like, oh, you see like the big picture of the plan over there, like all of the potential of the lights that you can accumulate in Aq'ab'al. But could be also, like the moment that you can start realize that you are becoming obsessed about something, about the plan, because sometimes you just want to have all of the ideas working. Of course, you are in the team. If you are the one, you are the thinker over there, like the one that is responsible for organizing, that can be great, because then the others, you can let the hard stuff for the others to do. But it all depends like on how or the conditions that you are using the naos of this TRECENA. And then after Ukub Naor, we go to Aq'ab'al 8 cut. Now 8 is where the TRECENA restarts, as now Naor, creates, it identifies the patterns, of everything that's happened to analyze and synthesize. Now 8 can be similar to now Naor, is where we see the patterns that nature starts to create. So what was only the spring of water, now it returns, is the restart, but you are more prepared as you are walking the path for the second time. So you kind of already know like what to expect. And so that's why 8 is the restart of the TRECENA. If everything we start with a thread over there, like an idea, now Tihash is the return of the editor, where you can cut the losing threads, like the ideas that didn't connect over there. You already know like what you already tried and need to work. So now is the editor coming back and see, oh, these threads are not working over there, or did I just lose in the textile you are creating? So it's about sharpening stuff, or you take your idea so you can see what can do it better, like how you can bring more beauty onto that. So you can use Tihash, or how you can go back to communicate, to express your idea, the idea that you are building, the idea that you are bringing, you're accumulating light, to just say that, to give more a try to see how it works. But if everything in the beginning of the TRECENA start entangled, and then you do not come back with doing the cut to take care of yourself, if you're becoming obsessed about something, if you don't cut right now, then the TRECENA is going to be intensifying, and then the weight, the pressure you're going to be having onto yourself is going to be way bigger. So Aq'ab'al is the comeback of the editors, is the comeback of the cut, to see what you don't need in there. Or how you can heal like your creation. And then from Aq'ab'al 8 cut, we go to Belaer Kawuk. Now 9 is the now of the underground waters, what's running, hidden from sight, just like Aq'ab'al, as I mentioned in the beginning of this analysis, is a cognate of Aq'ab'al and Nishvalam in terms of stating stuff, something that is in the dark. Just like a gear inside of a watch, you see the watch, functioning like with the points just changing over there, but you cannot see like all the gears that are spinning over there, that are making something work. So now it talks about what's underneath everything, is hidden in the dark. It's just staying over there, but it's working, but nobody's seeing over there. There is no like something like to see what they are doing. So it talks about what's in silence, like it's working in silence. And now Kawuk, we talk about these big insights, like this deep intuition. If in the beginning of the TRECENA we are talking about calculating the path, or where we could walk. Now, Bela Kawuk, you can compare, like if your calculations on 2 Pathfinder were correct, like if you are still, see if there is light in your calculation, if your insights were correct, where you can go even deeper into that. Kawuk is the shade lightning, like whenever you see like the lightning strike, maybe you cannot see the light, but you only see like the light. Just like intuition works, like it's unsolicited information that you have to deal with that. But the more we direct, the more like we are focusing to something in this TRECENA, the more like we open ourselves to receive information. And Kawuk is another now that of how we arrived into knowledge. If Bats is connecting the dots to arrive to a conclusion, and Aq'ab'al is about clarifying, like just getting all the information in doing a research, and Naor is about organizing, planifying, synthesizing. Kawuk is the one that you receive the knowledge directly. You don't know how you got there, you don't know, but you already get downloaded directly into you. Is instantaneous. Like Kawuk is just the flash of light. That's why it's the shit lightning. Like something the sun is just coming to that, you have to deal with that. So that can cause something that's going to be unquiet inside of you. If you are just too dispersed, like you're not just paying attention or just watching gossips around, like you're just procrastinating a lot, maybe this light of intuition is going to just present you something like that's going to be uncomfortable, that you're going to be making you having to move. So it's all about in what you are focusing. Remember that the 5 ego of this TRECENA, because that's going to be overflowing stuff. So you need to, in this TRECENA, you need to be focused. So Bela Kawuk is going to be this gestation of the light. How we're going to be processing of the light is going to be accumulating, that is accumulating over there, but it's silent so far. So the more you are directing, you're focusing to something in what you want to build, in what you want to create in this TRECENA, bringing to the light, the better for Kawuk, the better the information or the insights that you're going to be getting from Kawuk. So it's an amazing day to do this intuitive work, to flow with it. In Kawuk days, try not to become perfectionist, just try to flow. Don't try to think too much, just try to make it to become lightheaded, to see how the information comes and how you can do with that. If you're gonna finish there or not, just let the ideas come, because this in Kawuk days is where you can receive all the source, especially in 9 Kawuk, because it's a very, very deep novel. But also, you just have to be careful. You need to direct, what is the direction you're going to be looking to receive, to see this light. And then after Belaer Kawuk, we go to Laur Hunarpu, 10 Conqueror Sun. Now 10 is the now of the convergence. Just like when the waters, of the lake meet, of the rivers meet in a lake, and the water from the lake is going to be used from the animals, from the land, or the people in the communities over there they can use, is what can come and go. And so that's why we talk about this collaboration work, like it's about giving and receiving. And that's why it's the moment that we can do collaboration work in the TRECENA, more social stuff. And Hunarpu is the now of the conqueror sun, the sun that needs to conquer the darkness. We have the now Tikin that talks about the midday sun, like it's the masculine presence of the sun, like the heat that comes straight. But Hunarpu is the feminine sun, like it's the one that is gestating, is accumulating to grow up, it needs to fight to get out of the darkness. So it's the hard process of overcoming something challenging. So that's why we have this metaphor with the warrior that needs to go to the battle. The warrior has fears, he knows he can die, if he goes to the battle. So you need to overcome all of those insecurities inside of you, to overcome the darkness that your insecurities can bring. Or just like we can connect to the saga of the seed that goes to the darkness of the underground, it needs to fight to collect all the nutrients to rise up to the light as a flower, to express the beauty. Just like we are all expecting, to see the sun, rising up in the next day, to see the light, like the shine of the sun, like the beauty. So 10 Hunahpu is going to be the convergence of the glow, like the convergence of the beauty, like the beauty that the light can bring. In this accumulation of clarity, this is the process maybe that where you can put all your effort. Maybe you can ask the help of some other people to help, bring the beauty of your projects, to help bring that glow, the extra spark. Maybe the time that we can, present all of your creations for the people that you trust, to see what their opinion, if there's something that attracts them, or maybe for you to practice that, to see if you feel better presenting that, or for example an act. If you feel shy, or if you feel not ready enough, maybe it's the one that you can just call your close ones to perform, to see if you are ready, to ask their opinion. So their opinion will help you, to overcome these challenges you could be facing. Or maybe if you're just taking too hard on yourself or becoming too perfectionist with your ideas in this TRECENA, maybe Hunahpu is going to be the one that you really know, like where everything is going, like where it's going to be the glow, where you should be focusing on, what is the main attraction of your idea. And then from La'u, Hunahpu, 10 Conqueror Sun, we go to Hula'u in Mosh, 11 Water. Now 11 is the scattered water, like the water that doesn't have a single direction to go. So it goes right here and right here and right here. It's also another now that goes into divergence. And for example, in the beginning of the TRECENA, we had to open the path, to transform, to overcome all of this, anxiety, to open the path. And then you had to be stagnant with the 4 Jaguar to gestate, to develop, the land. Now 11 water is going to be how we're going to be watering the land, like how we're going to be spreading over there. It's the injection of force, as Mosh talks about. Is the power of the water, is the power that can make things grow. So it's all about like how you're going to be using like the precision of the water. But in Mosh is the now that when you have like too much force, like too much power, but little control. Just like doing the stuff with the hand that you have less precision. Like you're carrying a heavy stuff, but you need to pour water into something, but you don't have that much precision. So in Mosh, we talk about this little precision. If you make a mistake, you can destroy, everything. So you can intoxicate your land, like with fertilizers. Or just like you can intoxicate yourself because you're excited, or you just need to just go for a drink. It talks about like what you consume to get out of the situation. So 11 can be where things could go a little bit over there and over there and over there. Also, for example, if you're talking about the ideas you're having in this TRECENA that can come to light, Mosh represents also the collective consciousness, like where you can draw our inspirations. Like the sea of consciousness, where like the abstract world where we can draw inspiration, but sometimes it can be too messy over there, like where things don't connect, where you see like your creation start becoming a monster. So that's a side of Mosh that we need to be careful on how we're going to be using the dosage in Mosh. Too much force, like too much inspiration, sometimes you're only going to ruin if you're not focused. That's why 11 in Mosh is a day that you need to be very careful, because 11 doesn't make things harder to go straight forward, just to be focused into one single place, because it's scattered. And so that's why you need to dose very well our inspirations. For example, if you spend too much time on just watching or just procrastinating, like watching TikToks or videos on YouTube, social media, something that doesn't add to, of course, not saying like that you cannot do that. You can load off doing this stuff, but you have to be mindful of how you're gonna dose that, because sometimes in Mosh you can just pick something over there that's gonna be staying in your head, and you're gonna leave your mind, like away from what you really need to do. You can kind of lose the strength of your potential if you do not are too much careful with emosh. And so emosh can end up diluting all of the potential that you have. Just like that's the essence of the power of the water. Like the water can dilute or can corrupt, like can dilute all of the matter, like can destroy everything. So that's why you need to be careful with Hula Imosh. And then from Hula Imosh we go to Aq'ab'al Yek, 12 wind. Now 12 is the hidden balance of the TRECENA, like whenever instruction. And then now 12 is the moment of the TRECENA where you see everything coming back to balance. Remember, the universe is always in balance. So everything that happens over there, the universe is going to make things into balance. But even if we cannot see at the moment. So 12 we talks about what comes unexpectedly. Just like if you're just walking, you're talking to someone in the grass, just drinking water or drinking something, and then you just pour water, like just throw water in the grass, but there is some seed that you didn't see. Then you go back there, 2 months later, then you see a plant growing over there. So it talks about what wasn't expected, what comes as to balance. Or for example, when the dam breaks and destroys like a city nearby over there, 12 talks about the new forest growing, like the new life growing over there. So that gift, nature, or the extra is the cash out of the TRECENA, like it's the last moment of the TRECENA, so you can cash out. And now Yek is about the wind, is the excitement, like it's the moment where you can become excited by your emotions, for example, about the creations that you are doing. So it's the moment where you can just give like an extra push into things to make it happen, or to rush something, to complete. Especially in this TRECENA that we need to gestate what's going to be coming to the light. So 12 Yek can be like an extra push. You can give just like an extra, like giving 150%, just to rush stuff, just to get things done more quickly. But could be the moment of the TRECENA, where it can be really explosive. Because if you are just too perfectionist, like too emotional about it, too attached to what you're doing, you become obsessed about your creation. Is where, if people say, oh, that's not good enough, then you can explode. Maybe you can explode like being frustrated with what you could not achieve. So 12 Yek can function as this extra element to push things forward. But just be mindful. Remember, as I said, that the more focused we are in this TRECENA, the better. And then after Aq'ab'al Yek, we go to Aq'ab'al, 13 clarity. 13 is the now of the accumulation of water that we can connect to the sea, or like the lakes that has an horizon, just like the lake Atitlan in Guatemala. So every lake that you can see the horizon is now 13. And now Aq'ab'al, as I mentioned, is the accumulation of this TRECENA, the ruler, that's going to be gestating all of the ideas that we started in Hunbat, that we calculated the path into E, that we opened the path for the transformation in Aq'ab'al, that we stopped to develop in Kahib Ishvalam, that we overcome with the focus, with the straightforward actions in Hoptikin, to ponder the results in Waqib Ahmak, to see what is the intensity or the potential of the planning in Ukub Nor, to go back and do the cuts in Washakib Tihash, to receive more light, to see like the potential of the light from the intuition we get from Belair Kawuk, to converge courage to overcome our insecurities, the challenge that we get in Lau Hunarpu, to spread the injection of force or the growth or the project in Hulau Himosh, and to get the extra excitement in Aq'ab'al Yek. Now we get the full picture, the Oshlahu Aq'ab'al. Now you already had time to gestate what already happened, so Aq'ab'al was already pushing over there. And so Aq'ab'al expects perfection, expects to things, to be perfect, to see the light of day. Or maybe you accumulated, something so valuable that, is worth it to keep in the dark, to just stay a little bit more. It's not that you need to get something ready by Aq'ab'al, but it needs like how much longer you need to keep over there. Sometimes, strategically, you need to hold on to that, just to create expectations. So Aq'ab'al is about, learning how you're gonna be playing with this stuff in the dark. What you should, just show, to the light, to show people that it's ready. And otherwise, can be the accumulation of complaints, like whenever you are just taking too hard on yourself, you become too perfectionist, and then you're gonna be feeling heavy-headed, like your obsession is gonna be leading you to take hard on yourself. And that's what we need to avoid in here. And that's how we close the analysis. I hope it was clear. This is a beautiful TRECENA, a very auspicious TRECENA, especially for creators. The more that you are structured in this TRECENA, the more you have a plan to follow, making a good calculation as now Aq'ab'al, the better, so you can use into your advantage. The better, you see where everything is gonna fit all together. So I think that could be the best way to guide this TRECENA, to have a plan to follow. And also this accumulation of light that can lead you to an intense knowledge that you create in life as well. So to see how things work, so you can use over again, to repeat the process, to build more stuff for your life. And if you have any questions, I'm gonna be here for a few more minutes. And if it was already pretty clear, all of this stuff, let me know. And let's see if you have any questions. Oh, thank you, Gloria. If not, we can already close the live. Let's see if it... Oh, appreciate that, my friend. So, okay, lads, everyone, thank you so much for staying here with me for one more TRECENA analysis. It's always good, it's always more pleasurable for me to do, whenever has people watching. I wish you all a great TRECENA ahead, and I see you all in our next TRECENA analysis. Wish a good one. Kamo, Nimalar, Kinkamawar.